Hello, welcome to ArtMat, and today we're going to talk about how to repair a torn painting. First of all, this is number one step in the process. If you have this accident that happened, you tore your canvas, do not go picking at it. You're working against the material. Any canvas is a woven fabric. The more you try to fix it, the more you try to cut the strings, the more you are messing with it. So what are we going to need to fix this? Okay, so cut a piece of canvas that is as close to the material that you painted on, that is bigger than the repairing area. Okay, so you cut a piece, you measured it to the area of the torn canvas, you lined it up. Next, what you want to do is get a glue that is archival. This is a pH neutral adhesive. You are not going to find this in the glue section of the art supply store. Go to the book binding section because you are looking for a glue that is archival, that is not going to yellow, that is not going to degrade, that is not going to have a reaction with whatever medium you are applying it to. This is what the museum guys are actually using. If you don't have this, then do not even bother with the job. You are wasting your time. This glue is a little bit more runny. I don't use gloves because I have better control over my hands and spreading the glue just as is. You are going to apply this glue all over. Make sure to only apply it on one side. Don't apply too much on the edges because the stuff does run. So at this point, I'm just going to line it up to where the tear is. Okay, and then I will just place it down. I'm going to go wash my hands and I will be right back. Once I have laid this down and I washed my hands, because you don't want to have these kind of gooey hands sticking all over the surface. No. So you press this down. Once this is pressed down, most people that work in restoration of paintings have a bunch of tools with them. If you need to readjust something, use a palette knife. And if worst comes to worst, like you have to reposition this, please use a palette knife, reposition it, and then do it carefully. Do not make a mess with your gluey hands. Okay, the less interaction, the better. So this looks good. This looks like a nice solid bond. We have a good sized patch. You rub it down. Make sure that the glue is all spread out. You want to give as much support as possible. You check on the other side, but not too much. Okay, that looks good. Everything looks good. Let's put a weight down. I'm using this ancient hard drive. This thing weighs so much. Use a weight that is flat and even. You want to put down a consistent flat weight to get a nice, good, solid bond and leave it for the next 24 hours. Okay, so we'll come back once this is set. Here we are the next day. I let this dry for 24 hours. I mean, every couple hours, check to make sure kind of underneath that the glue isn't getting stuck to the floor. But if you applied a reasonable amount of glue, this should be fine. Okay, so I let this sit for 24 hours. And let's see how this mending came out. And look at that. This is beautiful. This is how paintings are repaired in the museum, in frame shops, any kind of art restoration. This is what they do. And this is why I said in the beginning of the video, please do not pick at the weave trying to trim the strings or anything like that. Just leave the cut as is. You can repair it on top later on, but the more you try to mess with it and make it neater, no, you're doing the opposite. You are just unraveling the canvas more. So this is what I mean by you want a clean mend. So the less you do to the cut, the better. Like, look how beautiful this turned out. Yes, there's a couple strings that are sticking out, but they're even dry. There's no glue there. So I can trim them later and that's it. Please do not pull on any strings if you want to get a nice, neat seal on this cut. And also here, this is really nicely stuck. We don't have any glue leaking on the side. That's why I don't apply too much, because you don't want to get that kind of plastic leaking glue on the side. So this is how you repair a canvas in a long-term archival way. This is a very stable glue. This is acid-free. It's not going to eat a hole through the painting in 5 years. You'd be surprised how quick materials degrade. This is a natural fabric, so if you put some acidic, strong, crazy glue on it, it will eat a hole in it really quick. So these materials are compatible. This will last a lifetime, this repair. You don't have to throw away a finished painting. This is repaired in a museum quality way. So this doesn't lower the resale value of your painting. It also gives a very nice support. So if I were to restaple this and restretch this, which is what I'm gonna do, this is gonna hold up very well because the area that the canvas is bonded to is wide enough to take the pressure of restretching. And because we had the weight on there, it is flat enough to where once it's restretched, you're not even gonna notice that this was repaired. And that's it, the hole is mended in a museum archival way, and you can just go on and keep painting and you don't have to throw paintings out because some paintings are really important. They're like the first of a series in a painter's portfolio. So this is a very important skill for all oil painters to know. This is part of the job, so you have to know how to repair your paintings in an archival way that's not going to lower the value of the painting, in a long-term way. So if a buyer buys this 10 years later, you're not going to get some crazy lawsuit. I mean, this is like more higher selling painters that would deal with this, but it does happen. And you are here to learn serious painting techniques. So this is how the pros actually do it. And even if it's a tiny little minor tear in the painting, if you're just restretching it, like this one here, I'll probably repair that as well. Even if you're just in art school, this is still so useful because these things happen and you as the painter should know how your materials work, how to repair something small like this. Repairs are a necessary part of painting. And again, this whole process only works on cotton canvas that is acrylic primed. If you have linen that is lead oil primed, that's a whole other story. That's much more complicated, and maybe I'll do a video on that. But this here is how you archivally and professionally repair a torn canvas.